as the crow flies. An angry young man stands in the cage with his fists in some gloves, ready to fight today. As Minoru Suzuki makes his return, he's very outweighted, but we're gonna have some fun with Suzuki. Oh ho! Ladies and gentlemen, last time we saw Minoru Suzuki make an appearance, he won at AFL Masters against Yukisar Miori and a win by submission log in round 1. In September of '93. He has not been here because of all the pancreas fights he has done this year. He is back and he is ready to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is AFLW, American Fight League Impact. I haven't done a poster for this show because I didn't want to. Because the poster I did for the last one was shit. Let's be honest, guys, it was crap. The newspaper article was quite good, so we might see more of that as time goes on. But the other thing I've realised is we're now in November of 1994. We've only had 2 UFC events in the past year. I'll do a big, when we get to the end of Thingamy, I'll do a separate episode for the end of the year after the December show, where I'll do a separate episode and we'll go through everything that's happened, all the other companies and what they're doing, and all their results for the year of 1994. But I won't be able to do it for UFC because they haven't done an event. I don't know why, but they haven't. So I've got my Irish latte ready. I've got 10 matches or fights to get through. We've got Hirokio Northcote taking on Muro Basma, Kenshin Takanaki versus Nobuo Asha, Casimir Ininga taking on Hirokio Masatina, Eric Paulsen taking on Masahiro Ono, Scott Morris taking on James Matthew, Johnny Rhodes versus Vernon Wright, Felix Mitchell taking on Alberto Ciano Leone, Patrick Smith versus George Rengerford, Wild Imish versus Art Jameson, and then of course our main event tonight is Marco Roos versus Minoru Suzuki. Are you ready? We are. There's Al Gibson. Welcome to Blur Cat's pre-show analysis of AFL Impact being held in Memphis. This is the 8th show of AFL show, the 8th AFL show of 1994. We're due to have 10 main fights and no preliminaries at all. Our main event is Minoru going ahead with Marcus Roos in an open weight fight. Also on the show, Wight Ismail takes on Art Jameson, Hirokio Northcote against Emilio Masma, blah blah blah. Roos' main event AFL show for the 3rd time. Suzuki submitted 3 of his last 5 opponents. This is the first time he's a food. One person's picked Suzuki, the others have put Roos, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Ismail's won 3 of his last fights by decision. This is the first time these 2 have fought. Ard has a 6 reach advantage, betting odds of Ismail as a favourite by a huge margin. This is the first time these 2 have fought. Smith will enjoy a sniff away advantage. It's the AFL debut of Smith. And the betting odds have Smith as a favourite large margin. Is it really his first match fight with us? Let's have a look. I swear he's had one before, but there we go. Fight history. No, he's been at Pancreas. Okay, that's probably why then. But it's his first appearance. Betting odds Smith is a favourite by a large margin. But it's the first time these 2 have fought. Felix is making his pro debut. Interesting. But Felix is going to beat Leone tonight. Johnny Rhodes versus Tiger Venom White. This is the first time they've fought. Rhodes will enjoy a sniff away advantage. The betting odds have Wright by a huge margin. Scott Morris versus James Matthews. The first time these 2 have fought. Morris will enjoy a sniff and weight advantage. Matthews has 7 reach advantage. The betting lines have Matthews as a big favourite to win. They have fought at Pancreas before. They've fought once before at Pancreas. 5 Gracie versus Westmead in 1994. Poulis won. Poulis has submitted 3 of his last opponents. Poulis enjoys an weight advantage. Poulis has 6 reach advantage. Both fighters are making an AFL debut. The betting odds have Poulis as a favourite by a huge margin. Eric Poulis and Musiero Jackie Oshai. I absolutely love Joki Ashai. He looks amazing. He has a lovely smile. And yeah, what more do you want me to tell you about him? Put you two there. Casimir Neki versus Hirokio Masatina. He trains at the Tokyo Dojo. Masatina has an over record of 0-1 against the current members of that team. This is the first time they have fought. Igneki enjoys significant weight advantage. Neki has 5 reach advantage. And then we also got that one, Kenshi Fire Takanaki versus Kenju Nobuo Eiju. This is the 3rd time they have fought. All fights have ended in a draw so far. The last met in the co-main event of Shuto 19. In 1992, they drew a time limit. So that's before this game started, Shuto 19. Azrai submitted 3 of his last opponents. Tanaki trains at the Tokyo Dojo. Azrai over a record of 1-0 against the current members of that team. Azrai has a 7-reach advantage this year for the debut of Tanaka, and the betting odds of Asia is a favourite by a large margin. Then Hiroto Northcote versus Mulio Basmita. Basmita submitted 4 of his last 5 opponents, first time they've fought. Basmita just 7-reach advantage, 6-reach advantage, betting odds have Basmita as a favourite. And this is what I've realised is, as well, is that it's affecting the way we're increasing in popularity as well by having, these people fight out of these weight classes. So it's given us some penalties. So hopefully doing this won't cause us to have penalties, but it's something like this where the betting lines are so offshoot because of their weight, the weight advantage and stuff, that it's causing some issues. It's the first main fight of the evening as Hiroto Northcote battles Mulio Basmita, both from Rio de Janeiro and Tokyo. He has not won a fight. He's lost all 5 fights. And I think most of them have been with us. Let's have a look at his fight history. Yes, they have. If he loses here tonight, he will be released from his contract. We'll see what happens. Our referee Shane Rears, the case judges are Clifford, Robinson, Perry Bruce, and Lloyd Griffin. Oh, when my throat hurt suddenly plays up when I start recording. Size difference, the opening bell. Northcote moves in closer, looking to open up an attack. Basmita looking very tentative, pokes out a pair of quick jabs, neither had any power on them. Northcote throws a punch back and was equal to it. Westmead looked like he was gangling for a takedown attempt but couldn't take the initiative. Northcote throws a quick 1-2 but doesn't land either blow. It looked like we're about to see a shot from Westmead, but Northcote was more aggressive and took the initiative. Northcote throws a 2-punch combo but Westmead avoids it. Northcote throws a quick punch but doesn't hit. Seizing the opportunity, Basmit shoots the takedown. Northcote can't stop the takedown. Basmit drove in too much with the power of beauty of the double leg. The takedown leaves Northcote seated with his back pressed against the cage. Basmit looks to get more dominant position by putting Northcote from the seated position onto his back. Forces his position brilliantly to get the mount. Basmit tries to lock in Northcote in an armbar. Basmit gets the armbar fully applied and Northcote has to tap out. The winner by submission is Mulio Basmita. And there you go, the official result. Being rated as great. But yeah, that's not going to help us with the betting lines. He thanks everyone for helping him and any sponsors for supporting him financially. Shootbox. Next up is Kenshin Fire Tanaki versus Kaija Nuburo Ajai. 7-7-2, 11-2. So he's had 7 wins, 7 draws, and 2 losses, I do believe. Whereas he's had 11 wins and 2 losses. This is the referee Shane Rears. Our judges at cage-side are Leone, Masters, Clifford, Robinson, and Perry Bruce. And here we go. Asia chooses shooting on Tanaka. Asia gets to take down Tanaka, pulls guard. Asia tries to pan around Tanaka, but none of the blows land with any degree of power. Asia tries to break guard at Tanaka, perhaps looking for the leg lock. Tanaka maintains a tight, secure guard. Asia pans away, but Tanaka isn't troubled by the strikes. Asia pounds away with big rise, but fails to land any significant blow. Asia tries to push apart the guard, maybe thinking of trying to isolate a leg. Loosening the guard, Asia is able to secure a leg lock. Tanaka has to tap out. Nuburo Asia takes the victory by way of submission. Kenshin Nuburo Asia defeats Kenshin Fire Tanaka by submission in the leg lock in 2 minutes 24 of round 1. The fight is being rated as great. Well, this is going to be the norm. Hopefully this will stop this from happening with the new weight limits. Thanks to all these sponsors for backing him. And we've got some huge announcements coming forward after tonight's show. We're going to have a look at the January show because we've got a huge announcement going on there. We're going to have 2 tournaments in one night. It's going to be a good night. Moving on, this Ketsuya Naga takes on Hirokio Masatino. Mark Haynes will be the referee. Our judges are Lloyd Griffin, Lance Dury, and Lorio Masters. The weight difference here is obvious. The fight begins. Inagi comes forward. Masatino lands a left hand in the exchange. Inagi lands a jab and he catches Masatino with a right hook. Inagi steps forward, the striking exchange begins. Masatino hits a counter left hand. Inagi can't hit a set up left jab, but then he hits a nice straight right. Inagi hits a left jab and then catches Masatino with a right hook. Inagi comes forward and the 2 fighters start trading blows. Masatino fires off a counter jab but doesn't connect. A jab hits home from Inagi, then he scores with a right cross. We're now at the halfway point of that round. Masatine isn't rushing in, worried about potentially getting hit if he gets in close enough to grapple. Igno fails to find a home for his jab, but then hits a nice straight right. Ikanaki rolls his shoulder to relieve a little of the tension that's built up, then moves forward. There's under a minute left in this round. Masatine looked like he was going to step in and grapple, but Inagi simply took the initiative first. Ikanagi connects with a jab, but his big right hand follow-up misses. Inagi comes forward looking to force a striking exchange. Inaki confidently steps into the pocket. Inagi can't connect with his self strikes, but then hits a nice straight right. Inagi some instructions from his corner, relax nod of the head. A jab hits home from Inagi, then he lands a straight right. 1-1 as time expires. I have to give that round to Inagi, but only 10-9. Yep, I agree with that. Val starts the next round. I don't know if I can go back and look at the fight metrics. There we go. So yeah, 12-2, definitely. Anyway, let's move on. I love me Val. The two fighters engage with strikes, but nothing significant lands. Ignite comes forward, and the two fighters exchange strikes. Masatini misses with a left hand in the exchange, and Ikazaki lands a jab. Then he hits Masatini with a straight right. Ignite initiates an exchange of strikes. Masatini throws a counter jab, but misses. A jab hits home from Inagi, then he lands a right hand. Ignite lands a jab, then catches Masatini with a right hook. We've now passed the halfway mark in this round. Ignagi comes forward. Ignagi moves into the pocket. Ignagi uses the left jab, but his big right hand follow-up misses. Ignagi comes forward. Masatini tries to hit a jab, but misses. Ignagi lands a jab, then he catches Masatini with a right hook. There's under a minute left in the round. For the first time, Inagi's starting to breathe a little heavy. Ignagi attacks with strikes. Masatini fires off a counter jab, but doesn't connect. A 1-2 from Ignagi fails to land. Exchange happens right in the centre of the cage, but neither fight lands anything good. The time runs out. Fight metrics. Yeah, once again, he wins. Let's go into the final round, 2018. That's bound. The two fighters engage. Masatini scores with a left hook. Again, hits a combination, a quick left and a straight right. Masatini has a large gash on his forehead. Blood is starting to trickle down towards his eyes. Ooh. Ignati hits the left jab and then hits Masatini with a straight right. Ignati can't hit a set-up left jab, but then he scores with a right cross. He punches with Ignati fails to land. We're now past the halfway mark in this round. The two fighters engage. Masatini misses a right cross and leaves him open to the counter. Ignati attacks with a left jab and a right hand. We have 1 minute of the round remaining. The two fighters stand and trade strikes, but neither lands any significant blow in the exchange. The two fighters engage. Masatini continues a right hand with a quick left hook. Ignati glances at the corner and gets a thumbs up response. A jab hits home from an again and he scores with a right cross. Round 3 is brought to an end as the time runs out. Oh, you've got one more. Obviously, let's look at the fight metrics here. 9-2. Once again, Ignagi wins. He needs to get a knockout blow. Give that round to Ignagi again. Yep. But only a 10-9. With one left, Masatini releasing his stop his opponent in order to win. The cutman goes to work between rounds trying to patch up. That might get reopened, we don't know. But a massive cut across the forehead. This is going the distance. This is amazing. We finally got a match going the distance. That's the bell for the start of the round. Masatini keeps a slight out of range, looking for a chance to dart in and start grappling. A jab hits home from Inagi, then he scores with a right cross. There's a takedown attempt from Masatino. The takedown is successful with a single leg, but leaves Inagi pulling guard. Not allowing his opponent room to work from the submission from Masatini keeps close contact and throws short, stinging strikes. Inagi tries to lock onto an arm from the bottom of the guard. A straight arm is applied. Masatino has to tap out before his arm is hyper-extended. The winner by submission, Kasatimo Iganaki. There he goes. Rate is good. 1 minute 34 of round 4. So it took it to round 4 to get that in. But, what's happened? There we go. Now stop working then, guys. Very odd. Just let me move Eeyore. Katsunegi Nagi gives a name check to everyone as Toka Jojo with their sponsors. He gives shows of respect to his opponent. But let's move on tonight because we've got a lot more to go on. But that was an amazing fight. Absolutely brilliant. I'll give those two very much a round of applause. I absolutely love that one. Another good fight. Moving on is Eric Paulsen competes against Masahiro Jackal Oshai. So Paulsen versus Oshai here. The referees Mark Haynes, our judges as always. The weight difference here is obvious. We are underway. Paulsen shooting on Oshai. Oshai can't stop the takedown and only catches Paulsen in half guard. Paulsen attempts to pass half guard. Paulsen passes side control, but doesn't have time to score the position before Oshai starts gambling. Paulsen ends up having to pull guard, losing out in the scramble. Clearly worried by submission effect, Oshai keeps very tight to Paulsen and peppers him with short strikes. Paulsen pulls Oshai in close and hits him with a couple of short punches to the side side of the head. Wary submission threat if his opponent Osho keeps very tight to Paulsen, peppering him with short strikes. Osho gets pulled in tight and takes a glance blow from the elbow strike. Osho throws a 3-week looking punches as he decides on his next move. Osho gets pulled in tight, stopping him from posturing up or launching any attacks. Perhaps where submission, Osho keeps extremely tight to Paulsen and peppers him with short punches. Paulsen drags Osho to the close control, then hits him with a couple of short punches. The time runs out in round 1. I'm going to have to give that to Osho. Osho is going to get that one, in my opinion. I give that round to Paulsen, but only to 10-9. Really? Let's have a look at this a minute. Fight metrics. Yeah, he got the takedown, the ground strike, and the ground passes, but he got the most strikes in that round. So unless it's been done on, I'll give it to Fingley. And here we go, round 2. There's a takedown attempt from Paulsen. The takedown is complete, and Paulsen gets side control from it. Paulsen tries to ensure Osho in a Kuminari. Paulsen gets the Kuminari, he twists the arm backwards at a painful angle. Out of the blue, Ocean pops his arm free, and Paulsen must not have locked it in as tight as it looked. Osho is a brilliant fighter. He will not be leaving the roster if he loses. Paulsen retains side control, though, as the danger has far from passed. Paulsen attempts an armbar from Osho from the side control. Paulsen gets an armbar fully applied, but out of the blue, again he pulls it out. Paulsen smartly reacts by securing side control once again. Paulsen attempts a Kuminari. Paulsen gets the Kuminari, twists the arm and backwards, and Osho has to tap. By submission, the winner is Eric Paulsen. Official roll, Paulsen defeats Masahiro Jackley Osho by submission in 1 minute 56 of round 2. The fight was being rated as great. Should we do Tony the Tiger? It was great. What are you shouting about? Paulsen thanks everyone connected to Lions Den for helping him prepare for this fight. Many sponsors for supporting his fight financially. Paulsen says he's very happy to cap his AFL debut off with a win. Well, yeah, sadly for Masahiro Jackley Osho, it wasn't to be. But he put up a good fight. Next up is Scotty Morrison battling James Matthew, both from America. 2 names I can actually pronounce. Of course, Morrison is a 1-0, whereas James Matthew is 4-1-4. So he's had 4 losses, 1 win. He's had no wins, but we'll see what happens. Let's go. The referee is Shane Rhodes. Okay, so judge Eloy Masters. The fight begins. Both fighters step in to strike. Matthew sits past the right hook and counters with a vicious right cross. It's a knockout. Morrison is down and out. James Matthew takes the win by knockout. Official rolls. James Matthew defeats Scott Morrison by knockout punch in 20 seconds of round 1. Holy shit, that was quick. 20 seconds and he wins. That was freaking fast. Was not expecting that, guys. Well, let's leave that one behind us in the dust. And James Matthew names checks all his sponsors, thanks all your fans who turn out to support him. He's asked who would like to fight next, and the answer is that the fight against Masatina Funaki would probably be a great contest. He's very comfortable being interviewed and did well here. Well, I don't know if you're in the same weight category, so that might not happen. It might be a catch weight show. Moving on, Johnny Rhodes squares off with Tiger Venom White. It's Johnny Rhodes versus Wright here tonight. 6-0-6-1, 230 LSB to 230 15 LSB. Shane Weirs is the referee for this fight. Okay, so judges are cage side. And lawyer masters Clifford Robson and Perry Bruce. The fight begins. The 2 fighters come forward and engage. There's a quick exchange of strikes, but nobody manages to land anything significant. White is off target with a left jab, also misses a right hook. Rhodes can't hit a right cross. An exchange strikes sees both fighters fail to land anything significant. White steps forward and a striking exchange begins. Rhodes hits a left jab in the exchange. A jab is wide from White, but then he lands a big right hand. The 2 combatants meet in the centre and start to strike. Wright misses a right hook and leaves himself open to be countered with a left hook. Wright initiates exchange of strikes. Rhodes throws a counter jab but misses. Wright can't hit a set-up left jab, but then he lands a sick right head kick. Rhodes collapsed that shot, knocked him out. By knockout, the winner is Vernon White. Official result, Tiger Vernon White defeats Johnny Rhodes by knockout by the kick to the head in 2 minutes 15 of round 1. The fight has been rated as good. Well, that's another knockout in the first round. At least it won 20 seconds. Anyway, let's move on. Vernon White names checks all his sponsors and thanks all his fans who turn out to support him. I think next up is Felix Mitchell versus Alberto Correa Leone. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Pit fight brawling. It's going to be a big one. Our referee is John McCarthy. Big John McCarthy. Our judges have been the same all the way through the show. Round 1 begins. Both fighters come together and strike. Felix slips past a right hook attempt and attack with a jab and a right hook that is ducked. Felix lands the left hand and hits Leone with a straight right. Felix moves forward, constantly trying to pressure Leone into exchanging strikes. Leone manages a counter jab. Felix can't hit a set-up left jab, but then he hits a nice straight right that lands hard. Shoulders hutched, Felix studies his opponent looking for an opportunity. Felix looks comfortable, short in the range as he looks to strike. Felix lands a jab, then he catches Leone with a right hook. We go past the halfway point of this round. Felix connects with a nice jab and scores with a right cross. We are into the final minute of the round. Leone shoots in looking for the takedown. Felix gets taken down by a single leg and has to pull guard. Leone clings very tightly to Felix while using short strikes clean, trying to minimize the threat of a submission attempt. Leone gets pushed back thanks to the butterfly guard and Felix quickly scrambles. It's a bad choice for as Leone sees the opportunity, leads forward and secures side control. Leone passes away and Felix landing a few clean shots, but not many. The time runs out on round 1. What a round that was. But I'm going to give that to Leone for the takedown and the ground strikes. He really went at him there. Incredibly close round, but Leone came out just ahead on my scorecard. That's about and the start of round 2. Felix forces an exchange of strikes. Leone hit a counter left hand. Felix lands a jab, then he lands a big right hand. Felix moves forward, constantly trying to pressure Leone into exchanging strikes. Felix steps into the pocket, avoiding a jab on the way. Felix hits a left hand, but Leone invades a big right punch. For the first time, Felix starts to breathe a little heavier. There's a takedown attempt for Leone. Leone has a takedown. Felix pulls half guard. Leone fires away a few punches and catches his breath. Felix uses underhook to work some separation, but quickly scrambles. Hold on a minute, guys. Leone is too quick though and grabs side control before Felix can get up. Leone throws some small strikes, but he's clearly just taking a moment to try to catch his breath. Felix struggles and does well, managing to get full guard. Clearly worried by submission threat, Leone keeps very tight and peppers him with short strikes. Felix tries to sweep from the ground. Felix sweeps Leone over for taking full man in one fluid motion. The time is up and that's the end of the round. Whoa, these two are very even. That one I think goes to Felix. I think that one goes to Felix. The crowd is buzzing after a very exciting round. That has to go down as 10-9 round to Felix. I'll agree with that, definitely. That was a very exciting round. We're going to next. My score now has them levelled at 19-19. We're back underway with round 3. Both fighters meet in the centre. Leone misses a right cross, but leaves him open to the counter. Felix attacks with a quick left and a right cross. Blood is visible appears that Leone has suffered a large gash above the eye. Felix confidently moves in closer, looking to throw some strikes. A jab is right from Felix, but he lands a right hand. Felix is breathing very hard. For the first time, Leone is starting to breathe a little heavy. Felix comes forward. Leone throws a counter left, but doesn't connect. Felix hits a left jab, and then he hits a nice straight right that lands hard. That's the last blow that mainly hurt Leone, staggered backwards against the cage and tries to cover up as best he can. Leone takes a right hand. Leone eats a right hook, though he's barely able to stand anymore. The cage is the only reason he is still upright. Referee John McCarthy has no option to leap in and stop the fight. Leone was slumped against the cage and just getting pounded on. The winner by TKO is Felix Mitchell. Now, was Felix the one who got busted open? Let's go back through round this a minute. Leone takes blow, 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 blow. Yeah, we've already done this, but there's a moment where, Leone is actually Albert Leone was cut, so he loses the fight. But is that because of the blood he has to take? Well, this result is Felix Mitchell defeats Albert Leone in TKO strikes in 110 of round 3. The fight's being rated great. This is a very even fight all the way through. It doesn't look like it here, but as you can see, 21 ground strikes, 14. It is a very even fight. It's just those shots were very hard in that last round. Felix Mitchell fancy all his sponsors. The fans he's visibly delighted. Felix Mitchell celebrates starting his AFL career with a win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next up we've got a huge match. Up next is Patrick Smith goes head to head with George Ringerford. Of course, George Ringerford has not won a match. He is 3-0, 0-3, whereas Patrick Smith has won 2-2. This is Patrick Smith's American Fight League debut. He was last seen at Pancras 4 in May of '94. against Masahiro Oshai in an unanimous decision. We're struggling to the 1-0. Of course, George Ringerfug does only work with us and the UFC. He has appeared at 2 UFC events and only made 1 appearance with us at Making History in May, and he lost against Kevin Rosa. So it's going to be interesting tonight. The ref for Shane Riz is the ref for the fight. The judges are Perry Bruce, Lloyd Griffin, and Lance Dury. That's the opening bell. Smith ignores the offer for touch gloves. Okay, Patrick Smith. Ringerford can't hit a set up left jab, then he scores with a right cross. Smith is able to grab Ringerford. Using his wrist skill, Smith is trying to push Ringerford up against the cage. Smith does it. Ringerford is stuck with his back to the cage. Showing his ability to control his opponent, Smith smothers Ringerford against the cage. A few 4-minute supplies with very little happening other than some short punches, some posturing. Smith attempts a leg sweep to trip to put Ringerford on the ground. An exercise leg trip sees Ringerford get thrown to the mat. Ringerford gives up his back. Smith starts unloading with massive rights, and Ringerford is getting pastered. Referee Shane Rose jumps in and stops the fight as Ringerford went limp. The winner by knockout, Patrick Smith. Official results: Patrick Smith defeated George Ringerford by knockout punch in 2 minutes 29 of round 1. The fight being rated as great. This show is going really well. This is one of the best shows we've had. Patrick Smith celebrates and thanks to his sponsors. Visibly delighted Patrick Smith starting his AFL career on a win, taking him to 3-2. Well, next up, it's the co-main event of the next show. Wild Pablo Ismail squares off with Art Jameson in the AFL heavyweight division, 5'7", 200, 205, 200. I was really struggling on who to put in the main event for this show, but I had to put Minoru Suzuki in the show because he hadn't been here for so long. So it's like, he hasn't been here for over a year. Now, he was last here in September of last year, so it's a year and 2 months. So it was like, we've got to put him in the main event because he was one of our prospects, and I've been able to get him because he keeps getting booked by Pancreas. John McCarthy is the referee for the fight. The judges are for the bout are Leo Masters, Clifford Robson, and Perry Bruce. Their fights face off. Art towering over Ismail. We are underway. There's a touch of gloves, neither fight even. There's no touch of gloves, neither fight even attempted to. Art lands a left hand and catches Ismail with a right hook. Ismail shoots him for the takedown. Art can't stop the takedown. Ismail drove him with too much power. Ismail ends up holding a seated Art around the waist, pressing him up against the cage. Ismail attempts a guillotine. Art gets caught by the guillotine and it's tight enough he has to tap. Wild Pablo Ismail takes the win by submission. Official well-edited Pablo Ismail defeats Art Jameson by submission and guillotine in 1 minute and 2 seconds of round 1. The fight being rated as good. So we've seen a lot of submissions here tonight, and of course he works for this Pancreas in Japan, I do believe Pancreas are. I'll have to check that after this. But yeah, he's really doing well in his career. And this is why it was a semi-main, because these two are meant to be used in the main event. Main event in mid-level regional, mid-level. I think he's mid-level regional as well. But very well done to both of these guys. We're going to move on to our final show. Match of the night, of course, is Minoru Suzuki against Marco Roos. Now, this is the final show where the weight limits don't matter, and they're coming into the next episode. This is episode 10. I'm doing now because episode 9 is being rendered because I have it in 2 parts. This is episode 10. Episode 11 and 12 I'm going to try and get done today as well. And what you will see with both of them is you're going to see a massive opportunity fly, hopefully. I'll have to check that in a sec. Yep, but this is the AFL heavyweight division. Are you ready? Shane Rhodes is the referee for this fight. The judges are Clifford Robson, Perry Bruce, and Lloyd Griffin. There's the opening bell. The touch gloves. Bruce can't hit a set-up left jab, but then hits Suzuki with a beautifully straight right. Bruce lands a left hand, then scored with a right cross, but landed hard. Bruce lands a left jab, but Suzuki evades a big right punch. Suzuki looked like he was going to step in and grapple, but Roos simply took the initiative first. 2 jabs hit home for Roos, then he catches Suzuki with a right hook. Blood is visible on Suzuki. His striker appears to have opened up a nasty cut on the scalp. We're now halfway a point round. It looks like we were about to see Suzuki try and get some grappling started, but Roos was more aggressive and took the initiative. Roos throws a quick punch but doesn't land. We're into the final minute of the round. Roos closes in on Suzuki, looking to unleash some strikes. Roos connects with a nice jab and then lands a low kick to the legs. Roos can't connect with a jab, but then scores with a right cross. Suzuki had to look like he was angling to grapple, but couldn't take the initiative. Roos can't set up a left jab, but then hits a seething kick to the legs of Suzuki. The time is up and end of the round. Well, I'm going to give that to the king of the streets. Definitely the king of streets in that round. Suzuki couldn't get off. Yep, 10-9 on my scorecard. The corner goes to work between rounds trying to close the cut on Suzuki. Round 2 begins. Rhodes fires home for his jab, but then hits a nice straight right that lands hard. Rhodes comes in looking to strike. Suzuki looked like he's angling to grapple but couldn't take the initiative. Rhodes connects with 2 left jabs but finds nothing but air with a big right. Rhodes connects with 2 left jabs but finds nothing but air with a big right. Taking a few gulps of breath, Rhodes is given the fresh hints that he's starting to tie. Now, Minoru Suzuki, as you can see, is a heavyweight in the world pound for pound 9 catch wrestling. I think we've got him in the lightweight division here, light heavyweight. It looked like we were about to see Suzuki try and get some grappling. Not again. Roos fails to find a home for his jab and lands a low kick. Roos lands a left hand and starts hitting Suzuki with a straight right. Suzuki's bleeding again from just above his hairline. A strike has reopened the wound. We're now past the halfway mark in this round. Roos lands a jab and then hits a nice straight right that lands hard. The end of the round is coming quick. There's under a minute left. Suzuki looked like he was going to step in and grapple, but Roos simply took the initiative. A jab hits home from Roos, and he scores with a right cross that landed hard. It looked like we're going to see Suzuki try and get some grappling, not again. Roos lands 2 straight lands to catch Suzuki with a low kick to the front leg. Roos rolls his shoulder relaxed and moves forward. Suzuki looked like he's angling to grapple, but couldn't take the initiative. And then he stands and gets left jab, and then a right cross that landed hard. Round 2 is brought to an end as the time runs out. Once again, the king of the streets there. Roos stood at around 10-9 on my scorecard. I make it 10-18 to Roos. The corner goes to work between rounds trying to close the cut on Suzuki again, and we're back on the way. Roos can't hit a set-up left jab, but then hits a nice straight right. Suzuki looked like he's going to shoot, but Roos soon took the initiative first. A jab lands from Roos, but misses with a vicious right hand. Suzuki chooses to shoot in on Roos. And Suzuki gets the takedown. Roos pulls guard. Suzuki attempts to pass guard. Roos comfortably blocks the attempt and keeps Suzuki in guard. Suzuki blocks an attempted sweep. Suzuki fires off a handful of punches, each easily being blocked with the gloves. Suzuki leans back to avoid a couple of wide swings from Roos. Suzuki fires some rights, but Roos is in trouble by them. Time expires would come to the end of round 3. Oh, hold on a minute. The first appearance of the world famous... Well, actually, it's not Mickey this time, it's Marie. There you go, then, darling. You want to go in the wardrobe? There you go. Right, that's Marie in the wardrobe. She'll get some peace and quiet because I think Mickey will be downstairs with GMs. With his mum, Gemma. She is a daddy's girl, so she's normally up here with me. So yeah, I think Minoru Suzuki. Let's give that round to Suzuki, but only 10-9. Roos said 29-28 on my scorecard. There's a battle. Round number 4 begins. Suzuki may have been setting up to shoot, but Roos aggressively took the initiative. Roos connects with a nice jab and lands a big right hand. A jab is right from Roos, then he catches Suzuki with a crunching right hook. Roos appears to be feeling a little fatigued for the first time in the fight. His hands are starting to lower just a fraction. Roos noticed some instructions from his corner and with a relaxed nod of the head. Suzuki shoots in looking for the takedown. Suzuki gets hold of the leg but remains standing, hopping on the other foot. With Roos not going down, Suzuki starts pushing him against the cage. Suzuki drops down, wraps his arms around his opponent's legs, looking to try and take him down. Roos presses him against the cage, can't stop the takedown. Roos is left seated with his back to the cage as Suzuki hold him down when out the halfway point around. Suzuki looks to get more dominant position by pushing Roos on the seat pitch onto his back. Shoots to his grand heels and gets the side control. Suzuki looks to get the mount. Suzuki takes the back instead and Roos rolled over rather than get him mounted. Suzuki attempts to complete a rear naked choke. Right, Roos face off the rear naked choke attempt. Round 4 is brought to the end as the time limit ends. Once again, I'm giving that one to Suzuki that round. Yeah, 10-9. We're going to the final round with everything still to fight for. It's final round, we're back on the way. Suzuki comes in looking for the takedown. Suzuki couldn't complete the single leg, but does end up standing holding the leg while Roos hops in place. On the other, Roos not going down. Suzuki starts pushing him against the cage. Suzuki tends to trip to put Roos on the ground. An ace outside leg trip sees Roos get thrown to the mat, and Suzuki has no problem getting side control. Suzuki throws a free right hand to the body. Suzuki blocks Roos as he tries to transition to guard. Roos is breathing very hard. Roos tries to hook a leg and put a knee bar on Roos. Roos blocks it. Roos tries to transition to guard but can't manage it. Inside control, Suzuki begins working to get a mount. Suzuki almost gets the mount, but Roos books his hips and starts scrambling. As Roos goes to scramble and leaves his leg in, Suzuki quickly tries to grab it. Roos avoids the threat of a leg lock and ends up pushing down on Suzuki, who's facing in turtle position. Suzuki made a tactical over there and going for the leg was obviously the wrong move in that situation. Roos pounds away with right hands but doesn't really do a great deal of damage. Roos prepares to throw a soccer kick to the head, but Suzuki wisely springs back up as fast as he can and backs off. The time runs out and the fight of that round is over, and so is the fight. I'll give that to Suzuki. Oh, okay. Personally, I'll give it to Roos, but the game would. I personally wouldn't. I would personally give that to Suzuki, but there we go. That's my opinion. But we're going to the round. Here comes the official scores. Cliff Robinson scored it 48-47 to Suzuki, 48-47 to Roos, and Lloyd Griffin going 48-47 to Suzuki. So the winner by split decision is Minoru Suzuki. And this was a decent fight. Morrison finished with Mark Russo split decision of 3 minutes of round 5. The fight was rated as being decent. We're going to finish the show there, my friends. Minoru Suzuki, thanks to sponsors and fans for the support. Now, Minoru Suzuki is not a main eventer. This is something I forgot to mention. This was his first main event fight, but he isn't a main eventer. But we have got critical rating of 75, whereas commercial rating of figure B, so it's going to be good improvement. But you can see, I don't know if he's improving. Yeah, so you can see if it improves. But you see he's mid-level regional in Japan, Central America. American name very low level regional. So he's likely used as a main eventing, but he did really well here tonight. We're going to close the show, probably increase by 0.6. Let's close that down. Process tonight's shows. Yep. There we go. Close all that. Yep. Let's see who the biggest earner was. Mo Basma, which is not bad. We're going to close all that down, processing all of that business. Processing. Come on, clean up skill histories. Oh yeah, because it's the end of the month, innit? Al Gypsy there, He-Man Al Gypsy, 0-3 in American Heavyweight. It was a rookie year. Couldn't fly for the AFL. As do most people in the database at the moment. Doing monthly database compacting. Can you hurry up with that? Thank you. I've just finished most has been victorious, beating Marcus by split decision. For more detailed results, analysis of the entire show. Venom Rights on the market. Badger Smith negotiation. Alizé visiting Roosevelt Tudo. Blue Cat rankings updated. First ready. Leone ready. And ready. I don't know either of you guys, so you're not going to get hired. But yeah. So yeah, we've got AFL Glory Days coming up, which is going to be huge. There's a big announcement coming on for the AFL Glory Days. There is still a fight to be added. You'll get to find out what that is later. We've got Rentless coming up as well, my friends, which is going to see 2 title matches. We've got the featherweight and the middleweight. There's the full card if you want to pause and have a look at that. You've got people like Renzo Gracie on there. And then we've got AFL It's On happening as well. On AFL It's On, I am not 100% sure, but that will be the middleweight title tournament night. So anybody who is a middleweight, can we do it yet? No, because we've only got you two. That's the issue. We could do, but that will be a one night only 4-man tournament as well. But we've got a big announcement coming out of the AFL making a fight league, and I don't know if it's been confirmed yet. Patrick Smith and Pancras, no. Okay, I'll make the announcement in the next episode. I'll thank you all for watching episode number 10, and we'll see you in episode number 11 very shortly.